Let's look at how to nail your Salesforce interview. I've been thinking about this for the past week, brainstorming what's the best way to do it. My thoughts on how to nail your Salesforce interview are distilled into 5 simple steps. The first step is that to do well on an important interview, you have to do a lot of interviews really bad. You need a lot of practice. Therefore, I suggest you start looking for a job when you don't need a job. My first suggestion is start interviewing, looking for a job. You don't need a job. I believe this is crucial so you get to practice and are in shape when you really need a job. Also, importantly, if you start interviewing early and practice a lot, you get to know what are the common interview questions, where your gaps are. Therefore, you can adjust your Salesforce experience, your job to suit those market needs. Thirdly, if you plan to change your job sometime in the future, the next year, I suggest you start interviewing, sending out your resumes, and getting your interview skills in shape. So basically, if you start interviewing, looking for a job when you don't need a job, you get in good shape, you improve your interview skills, you know where the market is heading, you know where your gaps are. So let's say you decided to look for a job. Now, what do? The first thing you have to do after deciding to look for a job is know what job and salary are you looking for. You're looking for a developer role, admin, or architect role. I suggest you set a specific goal, such as I'm aiming to become a developer with a $120,000 salary. Once you've set a goal, then you identify questions commonly asked of developers. There are a lot of resources online where you can do that. So what you can do is Google for it, Salesforce developer questions interview. Here you see a lot of resources, best websites for Salesforce interview preparation. Here for developer role. Here are some links. David Liu has posted some commonly asked interview questions about governor limits, triggers, record IDs, custom settings, etc. So there are a lot of resources out there. So you've identified the commonly asked questions. Now what do? I suggest you record yourself on camera answering these questions. This is crucial as you can see how you come across. Do you come across as someone who can clearly explain himself, who comes across as a nice person, someone whom they would love to have as a colleague sitting across the table from them? You can see, are you taking too many pauses? Are they distracting from the message, from the content you're trying to give? Are you using too many fillers like Are you speaking a choppy way that is making it very hard for the interviewer to understand you, and might just give them a headache? So just record yourself. I know you might sound weird listening to yourself if you're not used to do this. We all have laptops that have cameras. After you record yourself, make points of how to improve. For example, 1. Pick incomplete sentences. 2. Use better examples explaining your recent role, etc. As you implement these points, record it yourself again. So keep practicing and try to become as good as possible just using a camera, and I'm sure you'll make great progress. After you've recorded yourself many times and listened to yourself, you've improved yourself, you come across as confident, as positive, as experienced, as knowledgeable. The fourth thing I suggest you do is practice with a friend, preferably a friend in Salesforce space. Ask each other the questions that are commonly asked for a developer or an admin, and see how you sound to each other. See how you can improve. Most importantly is improving. So don't be upset if you are doing bad. Just try to improve every day. One small improvement will make a huge difference. After 30 days, after 7 days. As you take turns asking each other the same set of questions, you will have a good idea of how you come across, and you can give each other feedback on how to improve. So giving each other feedback is the most important part. The fifth idea to nail your Salesforce interview, I believe, is finding a mentor. This is the most difficult step because a mentor is someone who is ahead of you, who is experienced, who has certain knowledge that they can share with you so you can get ahead. The rewards for you are huge because they can help you get where they are. They've passed the path that you want to walk, and with their advice you can traverse that path faster, avoid their mistake. But in exchange for them sharing with you their experience, their knowledge, what can you offer? This is the big question. how can you reward them for their time, their knowledge? There has to be an exchange for this relationship to be sustainable. Maybe you have some certain skills, you can make certain crafts, or you're a handyman, you can provide, but a lot of these are very difficult. Therefore, I suggest the best way to resolve this issue is to find freelance developers or freelance administrators or architects, and in exchange for their time, their guidance, you offer them certain pay. Speaking to an expert for 30 minutes, for 60 minutes will open your eyes, will inspire you, and help you overcome certain barriers. The best way to find a mentor, I believe, is find freelance developers, architects, depending on what kind of role you're looking for. But how do you find the freelance developers, admins? Any ideas? You can find them online on websites where freelance developers offer their services. You can Google freelance Salesforce developers. There are websites like Fiverr, Upwork, where you can see people with experience share their resume, share what projects they've done, what path they've come from, maybe they're career changers. So find yourself someone who matches your background or who has achieved what you want to achieve. Talk to them and schedule weekly calls where you show your progress, practice with them. I think they can make a huge difference for you, and this can be a sustainable relationship. So these are my 5 ideas on how you can nail your Salesforce interview. So just to reiterate, first, start interviewing, looking for a job when you don't need a job. And once you've decided that you want to start looking for a job, decide what job and salary are you aiming for. For example, if you're a developer, or if you're trying to become a developer from an admin, you can write, I'm aiming to become a developer with $120,000 salary. Now that you decided to become a developer, identify the common questions asked of developers. Google for them, and once you found these questions, write out the answers for them and record yourself answering them. Listen to yourself. How do you come across? You have to try to come across as experienced, as a pleasant, as a knowledgeable person. You'll make tremendous progress just in a few days. After you've practiced recording yourself on camera, practice with a friend. Ask each other these commonly asked questions. Listen how you come across, how your friend comes across, how can they make an improvement. After you've practiced with a friend, it would be great if you can practice with someone who's in a role that you're trying to get into. For that, I suggest finding a freelance developer or admin or architect, and there are a lot of resources online where you can find them. So these are my 5 steps to nail your Salesforce interview. I believe you can do really well with practice and get that dream job. Good luck. If you have good experience, if you have other ideas of how to prepare well for a Salesforce interview, please share them, and I would be happy to interview you and make a YouTube video with you.